welcome back to this van conversion, and today we're going to be doing our insulation. Since you last saw us, we have developed a few extra blisters on our hands from continuously cutting these fluffy stuff all around us. This is recycled plastic insulation, literally made from recycled, plastic bottles and whatnot. We chose this because it's light and it's not an irritant, which obviously irritant stuff are terrible to work with, and also you don't really want to live with them.
This is a lot easier to fit in all the smaller nooks and crannies and crevices that we have leaching throughout our van. Leaching throughout. Honestly, you look in holes and you're like, oh, there's another air gap in here. Most people choose a few options for their insulation. Pir board is a big one, which we are going to use on the ceiling and the big cavities in the sides. But since Pir board is a pain in the ash to cut and work with, we really did not want to go through all that time and hassle to cut it out for all the smaller cavities. Hence, we got some fluffy stuff instead. The key thing about insulation is that you don't only need to insulate when it's cold outside and you're trying to keep heat in your van, but the reverse as well.
If you already have a van and you have stripped it out, you would know what we're talking about if you've happened to have a sunny day in this country, where the sun would hit the metal directly and there's no insulation whatsoever, and it literally radiates like an oven. You can even see the heat waves coming off the wall, coming into your van. It's not a
fight!
So as Sam said, heat moves from high temperatures to low temperatures, and there's three types of heat transference that we all need to consider. Conduction is heat being transferred through direct contact, which means that when I put my hand against this very cold metal wall, my hand starts feeling cold because I'm trying to leach my heat into this cold surface, and by the way, that is freezing. My hand is hurting already, which is why you need to put insulation.
With convection, it doesn't happen between solids, it only happens between liquids and gases. So in this case, we're worried about gas because air is a gas. So if you have air floating around in your cavities, it will take the heat that you have inside your van, it will take that heat, it will cycle it up and down inside your wall cavities, and if it's cold outside and hot in the van, the heat will then transfer into the metal and get out your van, and vice versa. If it's hot on the outside, the metal transposes the heat to the air in your cavities, and that heat then gets transposed inside your van.
Now when radiant heat comes into play, it becomes a little bit more complicated to understand, at least for us, and we'll do a video on that specifically because it has a lot to do with the reflectix that you put onto your walls and ceiling. But what it is, radiant heat is energy traveling through air or vacuum. So when you feel the heat from the sun, that is radiant heat that you're feeling. So when you feel heat without making contact, that is radiant heat. And the way you combat radiant heat is with reflectix. However, here's a trick. You must leave an air gap between the reflectix and the rest of the world, okay? Because otherwise, there will be no air gap or vacuum for the radiant heat or energy to travel by, which means it will just act as conduction. That goes directly against the thing we're saying about to fill the cavities, because, well, do you fill the cavities to stop, conduction and convection, or do you leave them empty to stop radiant heat?
Yeah,
both. It's both. Oh man, I need to figure out a smart way to do that now.
Indeed.
Sorry Jeff. We're gonna do the first panel here first, and we need a Rose, a Bob, a Lily, a Bob, and a Jeff. Where's Jeff? Jeff?
Oh, no, that's Derek.
Jeff's there?
Hey, Jeff. There you go.
Right.
Bob, there's another Bob.
Bob. Lily's missing, guys. Lily's missing. Right, okay, so let me just drive your attention to this piece here. This piece has been split in two because the back cavities where Sam is now poking, those cavities actually are about 4 centimeters deep, so there's really little point us trying to stuff the full thickness of the roll. So this is just, split in two.
plenty of cats, Marys. You need a cat and a Mary, and what?
So Steve, Cat, Mary, Liz. Jill! Got a Jamie.
There's a tube channel down here. Nice, big and hollow. Where I'm trying to stuff this, but it's nearly impossible to reach. You can't reach it from this side. Only from this side. Thing is, some insulation in there, even if it's not as tight fit as this, is better than nothing. So I'm going to take that as a win. Now there's another one on this side. Why did they design it like this? What's this purpose? Kind of hard to describe, but there's a channel that does this. Comes all the way down here. Like that. Yep, literally straight down. On this side there's no channel, it's just open cavity in here. So I need to stuff this kind of going up like that if I can. Ah, there's another hole inside the hole.
Ah, of course there is. Alright, so we have stuffed the van cavities with as much fluffy stuff as we can afford. So yeah, the cavities just eat up as much insulation as you really stuff in. We can stuff even more insulation in here, although we have to be careful because we shouldn't make it like packed. You want the stuff to be fluffed up. Otherwise, if it's compressed, you will not get the trapped air between the follicles and stuff.
So it's the air that gives this stuff its thermal properties along with the material it's made from.
Correct. So we filled any and all cavities that we could reach. Yeah. This is all filled. Right here, that's not filled.
No, but that one is.
Here we filled through these holes. Going down, we went in there. I don't know whether we explained when we did it, but these columns are filled. And what's interesting and rather annoying about these is that there's actually 3 columns to fill in that space. So there's 4. Oh, my bad.
Yeah. So there's one that runs along here and comes up. So this is all adjoined. There's another one on the opposite side that runs along up and adjoined. And then there's also 2. One where this conduit runs from down here, coming up through here and out. That is not the same cavity as this cavity.
Is it no?
No, it's not. They're not adjoined. And the 4th one is obviously on the other side, down here, up and out this hole. Because these holes we drilled.
All of these cavities sucked up so much, especially this door frame. This is incredibly deep, both going outwards deep and also going downwards. It's very, very deep. So don't be surprised if you do insulate that part, you're gonna use like half a roll.
The other thing that we had to be careful about on the back doors and especially on the sliding doors, the amount of wires and little compartments and traps that there were within the cavities. So if we show you on this one here, there are some wires that are above that kind of keeps this compressed inwards, like this thin wire here, this one, but there are also some underneath. So we're going to build removable hatches within our wall cladding. So if we need to access this, we take off the cladding. And then the good thing about this stuff, it's not stuck down. So if we need to replace this cable, you know, we just take this out, pull it out, put a new cable in, stuff that back, put the cladding back on top. We're going to move on to our PIR board, which we luckily pre-ordered in advance of all this chaos.
Here is one that we did earlier.
I really wish that the van was straight and not curvy. Look at that.
Well, that's a pickle.